Hello, scholars. Today is Wednesday, and we are talking about how sometimes authors get ideas for their books from their own lives. And your goal for today is to be able to tell some of the ways that authors get an idea for a book. Do you remember when we read Saturdays and Tea Cakes? Shake your head yes or no. I thought that was a fun book. You remember the little boy? He drove over to his Mamaw's house and spent the day working with her and cooking with her. How do you think he got the idea for that book? I'm going to pause right here and maybe you can discuss this as a class really quickly. How do you think he got this idea? Okay. Let's read his dedication. So if you're not familiar with it, a dedication is at the beginning of a book, and it's written for the author to be able to explain why they wrote the book and who they wrote it for. So this is his dedication. I wrote this book to honor my grandmother, my mother's mother, my Mamaw. As a child, I loved the time I spent with her because, like no other grown-up, she had the time to make me the center of her attention, to make me feel so very special. Everyone should have at least one person who can make him or her stand taller, feel bolder and smarter, and to know that no matter what, nothing can separate you from that love. This story is true, a memoir from my childhood. Every word is as true as my memory can recall it. This story takes one special period of time from my whole life and gives you a glimpse into that cherished time. Were you right about what you thought? I bet you were. Great job. So, based on his dedication, we have learned that this is a memory story. That's when we see this word memoir. I want you to say this word, memoir. Say it with me, memoir. That's a memory story. And he says it's from his childhood. And he says, every word is as true as my memory can recall it. So that means that he wrote this based on a true story. That really changes our opinion of the book. If we were to go back and read it, we would think, wow, all of this is really true. It really happened. That might help us to connect to the story a little bit more. So next time you read a book independently, look for a dedication. It's normally on the first couple of pages. And maybe that will help you to see why the author wrote the book. Now we're going to think about My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother. Miss Shanna finished reading that today. I love that book. And we're going to take a look at the pictures that Miss Shanna showed us in the front of the book. And also we're going to read the dedication. This dedication is much shorter than the other one, but let's read it. To my brother Rich, with love, and then the initials stand for Patricia Polacco. That's our author. So let's take a look at these pictures. I see it says Richie and me, Richie, mom, and me on the farm. And I look at all these pictures, and these are real photographs. These are not drawings. They're real photographs from her life, and they're of her and her brother. What information did you just get from the dedication and the photos? I want you to pause to talk about this. Teachers, pause here. All right, friends, come back together. Do you think the boy in the story is based on Polacco's real brother? It sure is. That makes it much more interesting to me. It shows me how Patricia got the idea for her book, and when I'm reading it, I'm going to be able to connect to it a little bit more, realizing that Rich is a real person. Where do you think Patricia Polacco got the ideas for her other stories? I know so far we've only read my rotten redheaded older brother, but in tomorrow and next week, we're going to read several of her other books. Where do you think she got her stories from? It seems like she has gotten them from her own life. Where could we look to find out if an author got ideas for a story from their own life? What are some ways we could find this out? We've read lots of books from lots of authors, and we don't know where they get the ideas from. So we could look in the book. If we look in the book, we could check the dedication page, maybe an author's note, or the back cover. Sometimes the author's note is at the beginning, and sometimes it's at the end. We could also look online, maybe at a book review, book summaries, author interviews. I bet some of those interviews would be on YouTube or maybe on other websites. Or maybe the author has their own website where they talk about their inspiration. These are all places that we can look if we want to know why the author wrote this story. Why would an author write a story about something from their own life? I would like for you to discuss that with your class. Teachers, go ahead and pause here. Okay. In closing, I want you to think about other books that you've read. This is just reflection. Where do you think the authors might get their ideas? So I'm thinking of some of my favorite books right now. I'm thinking about the author, and I'm wondering, where did they get their ideas from? It honestly makes me want to go look it up or go pull out my favorite book and read the dedication. This makes me think that as we read other Patricia Polacco books this week, they will also be from her memories. What do you think? Give me a thumbs up if you think the same thing, or give me a thumbs down if you disagree. Awesome. Thanks for listening, friends.